I'm going to give you a brief introduction to Google Forms. There's a couple different ways to navigate to Google Forms, and one way to do that is to open a brand new window like you see here in my Chrome browser, and in your address bar type in forms.google.com. Spell it correctly. Another way to get to Google Forms is by searching your app picker. If I click on my app picker over here on the right hand side, you will notice all the different apps available to you through Google. And if you scroll down, you will find the Google Forms app right there with the purple paper icon. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and it's going to take me to the main Google Form page. And what I like about this page is simply this gray section across the top, which is the template gallery. I can go ahead and click on template gallery, and it takes me to the gallery with a bunch of templates that are already laid out for you depending on how you want to use this in your classroom. So if I want to do an exit ticket, I can grab the exit ticket template right here. If I want to use this as a worksheet, there's a worksheet option. If I'm a student council sponsor and I want to use Google Forms for a t-shirt sign up, here's the template right here. So a lot of great templates already put together for you to use and adapt to your specific needs. So I'm going to go ahead and click the back arrow and go back to the main page again. And I'm simply just going to click on the blank one because I want a blank Google form. Now, when I open up a blank Google form, you'll see it's just as what I said. It's blank. There's nothing there to it yet. So in the upper left-hand corner, I'm going to give it a title. I like to use Google Forms as a get-to-know-you activity for my students at the beginning of the year or beginning of the semester if I'm teaching semester classes. Notice that once I change the title in the upper left-hand corner, it also changed the title on my actual form. Just below the title, I can add a form description, which gives me the opportunity to add further instructions for my students to follow when filling out the form. Right below that is where you can start adding questions. And by default, the first question that you're going to be able to add is multiple choice, or the default type of question. If you click on the drop-down arrow for that, you will see that there are a variety of different types of questions that you can use. A newer one is this file upload, in which you can have students upload files as a question to a Google form, which is kind of a cool feature. But for this first question, I'm simply just going to ask for my student's name. So I'm going to click on short answer, and then I'm going to type in name. Okay? If you look at the bottom of that question section, you'll notice there are different settings. I can duplicate a question, so if I duplicate this question, you'll notice it just copies it, adds it right below it. There's also a trash can, so if I decide I don't need a question, I can click on the trash can and it removes that question from the form. Next to that is the required toggle switch. With name in particular, I like to toggle that switch on because that forces students to answer this question before they submit this form. If they try to submit the form without answering a required question, Google Forms will not let them do that. So they'll have to input something in there in order to submit the form. Then, like with any Google product, if you see these three dots, that tells you there are more options. So I'm going to click on that, and I can add a description to the question, and I can also do a response validation, which response validation is something that will come in a later video down the road. Okay? On the right-hand side, just next to the question, you will see a different toolbar options. You have add a question option. You have import question. You can add a title and a description. You can also add images and videos. So those are two great options to add a picture or a video and then have questions that follow that pertain to that image or that video. And then students can watch that video and answer questions based off what they viewed. And it's pretty cool. You can add YouTube videos and whatnot. And then the last option here is to add a brand new section. And as you get more advanced and more, you learn how to use Google Forms more often in your classroom, you might want to add different sections which, based on the students' responses, could take them into a different section of the form. Okay? But what we're simply going to click on is the plus sign at the top to add a new question. It automatically adds the question below the question you were just working on. And for this question, I'm going to leave it multiple choice. And I'm going to say, what is your favorite color? Question mark. And then down here for options, I'm going to click on option 1 and then simply type in different options that are colors for my students to choose from. Not Greg. Green, blue, pink, and purple. Okay? Notice as I hover over each option of colors, there's a little image icon that pops up. So if you're using this form with younger students, like kindergarten students or preschool students like that, who might have a hard time actually reading these words, you could easily insert an image to be associated with the word you're talking about or the option they can choose from. So I'm going to pick a red color and I'm going to insert that, and you will notice now red, a picture of a red color is right next to the word red. So that way younger students who might have struggled with reading can easily identify what their favorite color is. Okay? And I'm going to make this one required as well. I'm going to go ahead and add a new question, and for this one, I'm going to say, what month is your birthday? And I'm going to switch that from multiple choice to drop down. And I'm going to type what month is your birthday in there again. I should have switched it first, but I'm going to type in what month is your birthday, and the power of Google kind of takes over. It gives you suggestions. So because I typed in what month, it automatically suggests that I could add the months I want to add, or if I want to add them all, I can click Add All. And then now it automatically adds in every single month of the year. So I don't have to type them. Google automatically does it for me. I know. Ooh, that's pretty cool. Now the reason why I chose a drop-down option as opposed to a multiple choice is because I have 12 months here. If this was a multiple choice option, my user, my audience would have to scroll in order to view all the months and select their month of their birthday. Where if it's a drop-down menu, I'm going to go up here to the preview option and preview this form. This is what it looks like for the user. And now with the drop-down, see how it takes up less space? And then drop-down, there it is. There's all my different options I can choose from. So when I have a question that has a lot of different choices to choose from, I like to use a drop-down option to take up less space and have my user scroll less. Okay? Let's go ahead and add one more question here. And for this one, let's choose checkboxes. What types of animals do you like? And then maybe I'll put dog, cat, horse, tiger, of course, monkey, snake, yuck. I definitely don't like this one either. Spiders. I can also, again, add pictures if I wanted to. Now, what's great about a checkbox question is that students can then select multiple animals that they might like. Okay? Now, that's not very evident to a user that they can select multiple options with a checkbox. So this would be a great opportunity to click on those three dots and add a description. And maybe the description says check or maybe select all that apply, which would then tell the students that they can select more than one option here for this specific question. Okay? Now, as I mentioned before, there are many different options for questions. I've typically seen teachers use the linear scale, multiple choice grid, and checkbox grid for when they're using this as a rubric in their classroom during presentations and whatnot. Okay? If you want to look up here across the top, there are a couple different tools or options I want to go over before I end this video. The first one here is this color palette, which allows you to customize the theme. You can change the color, you could choose a header image if you wanted to, you can change the background color, and you can change the font style. Pretty basic options when it comes to changing the themes, but Google does give you a few options to choose from. Over here, we've already talked about the preview button, which allows me to preview what the form's going to look like for my audience. I'm going to click on the settings gear, which gives me an option in the general tab to collect email addresses if I want. I can also restrict who uses this form. So if I'm sending a form out to somebody like a parent or somebody in the community, I want to uncheck this because most likely they won't have the domain that your school has. So they'll have to be able to access this form. And if I have this checked, only ESU3 people can access this form. So I want to make sure I uncheck that. I can also limit responses, and I can have my respondents, I can give my respondents opportunity to edit after they submit, or also see a summary after they submit their form. Presentation, you can show a progress bar, you can shuffle question order. I recommend that if you're using videos and questions, or like you have a video and then you have questions that follow that pertain to that video, do not shuffle the question order, because if you do, it will shuffle the video around as well. So those videos and those questions might not be together. I can also give them a link to submit another response, or I can turn that off if I only want them to submit one. And then I can also edit my confirmation message right here. Quizzes is something I'll talk about in a later video, but you can also turn a Google form into a quiz too. Once you're done changing these settings, go ahead and click Save. And then to send this out, you simply want to click Send, and then you can send it via email. So I can type in Robbie, if I want to send it to Robbie, Kate, so on and so forth. Or I can also click on a link here, and I can send this link out in an email where they click on the link and then they're able to fill out the form. I can also shorten that URL because that one that you just saw was really long and cumbersome. This one's not really much better, to be honest with you, but you can shorten it as well. Then you can also embed code if you want to embed it into a website and things like that. Okay? So those are the different settings, and that's a basic introduction to Google Forms. Please reach out to anybody at ESU3 if you have further questions or you'd like further assistance with using Google Forms in your classroom. Have a great day.